99.9% the women are always arguing with him. So to see a panel of black women arguing with everything Myron is saying, it's like life changing. It's like history in the making.
About the narrative between black white cultural norms, black women not necessarily being taught to look for husbands, all of that type of stuff. What do you think about everything that's being communicated in a general sense?
I agree with a lot of what he just said. I don't know if it's that women are not necessarily being taught to be wives per se, as much as taught to be wives that men want. Because
Mm.
everybody is not taught to go be an independent woman void of a man. Like some women are genuinely taught to go marry, but they're also taught to have a career at the same
Mm.
time. They're taught to have kids, but they're taught to go get an education. So they're not taught to not be a wife, but they're also not necessarily taught to prioritize being a wife. They're not necessarily taught the characteristics that a husband that they want would actually be looking for.
So
Mm.
Because
let me ask
everybody
you
doesn't come
this.
from a broken home either. I mean, I know a lot, we say that a lot, and I'm not downing the numbers on it, but everybody doesn't come from a broken home. A lot of people have a two parent example, but they might not necessarily know how to be the
Well,
wife
I
that they
would
want the
say it's
husband
not
for.
just a black.
So before Myron goes in, actually I agree with Kerry. Even the though, but the issue is even the people who come from two parent households, the parents, maybe because it's of the economy or whatever the reason, the parents never put focus. They used to back in the day, let's say, I don't know, 30 years ago, the parents would teach kids on how to be good partners, good husband, good wife. But these days, even kids who come from two parent households, the parents don't care. They don't teach kids on how to be good husbands and good wives, to the extent they don't even talk to kids about sex, like sex education. Hey, use condoms, they use this. So kids literally have to figure these things out on them by themselves through social media, TV, and things like that. So I don't think, even for, I know we talk about the ladies, but even for the guys, nobody teaches us on how to be good husbands, whether we came from a two-parent household or not. They just tell us to focus on education, and that's it.
Issue. It's a whole U.S. issue. The nuclear family has been destroyed, and there's a bunch of
For
reasons for
sure.
that. Feminism, etc., has been, I think, one of the biggest problems when it comes to degradation of the nuclear family. But what I will say is, because you mentioned a good point that women, like, they're told to go to school and pursue, and I would say, right, if someone wanted to lose weight, right, and they truly wanted to change their body, they would have to change everything about their lifestyle. They'd have to start going to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night. They'd have to prioritize going to the gym. They would have to change their entire lifestyle around to be able to achieve that goal. Here's the problem. We tell women that they can kind of live their life the way that they want, and there's going to be a good man at the end waiting for them. And the problem is, if you want a guy to take care of you, well, then you need to be in a position where you're prioritizing finding that guy. Because the days of, and this is kind of the conundrum of feminism, right? So, what feminism effectively did was it gave women the autonomy to pursue a career, make their own money, and become successful and be on their own. But what that also did was it ostracizes the average man from the dating and relationship marketplace, because women will never admit this, but I'll say it for you guys. There's nothing worse for a woman than settling on a guy that she feels that she could do better than, right?
Mm.
And what ends up happening is, with a lot of average men, 5'8", making 30 to 50K per year, a lot of women see better than that in America. Even average looking women feel that they could do better than that, right? There's nothing worse than an average guy to a majority of women. So what women do is they'll go to school, they'll pursue an education, they'll become successful. And what they're hoping is that there's going to be a guy more successful, more attractive, more ambitious than her at the end of that road. But what she's effectively done, because she's become average herself or better than average, is she's just now ostracized a majority of men
Just push
that
them
would have been
away.
a great candidate for her before. But feminism has made it where women are told not to settle, become independent. But you got to ask yourself, who are they independent of? They're
Man.
independent of men. We don't walk around and say, "Oh, we're strong and independent." You guys will laugh at us like, "What the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas?" But we
Yeah, I was about to say, imagine if men walked around saying, I'm independent, don't need no woman. Do you know how crazy that sounds? I mean, if they already call you toxic and toxic misogyny and all these kind of things that you hate women just for giving a simple opinion, imagine if men actually walked around saying, we're independent, don't need no women. That it sounds even crazy to me just saying it, but women can say it. But like he said, average women don't want average men. And it's okay to have your preferences, but it's also okay to look in the mirror that me as a guy, if I say I want to date Rihanna, sure, it's my preference. But the question is, what are the chances I'm ever going to meet or even date Rihanna? And how many Rihannas are out there? So yes, the ladies want all these rich guys. They don't want the average guys. But how many rich guys are there? And how many are you actually going to ever meet or even get? So that means most of us are probably going to die single just because of the crazy preferences and standards that we have.
We run around and we praise women for being independent all the time, but we don't ask ourselves, independent of who? It's of men. Of which men in particular? The majority, aka the average man.
Yep.
Most women are chasing the same small 10 percentile of guy. 6 foot plus, 100K per year, good career, charming, love dogs, asshole, but at the same time, you know, a nice guy. Like they're looking for something that's very difficult to find in one guy. So when you made the topic like, hey, women are told to go, you know, get their money, but at the same time also kind of be a wife. The problem is that for the caliber of guy that they're looking for, right? Ironically enough, they need to prioritize finding a husband. But the problem is that they're pursuing a career so much that they don't have the time and a lot of the times interest to even pursue this guy. Like, and this is another controversial take, and I'll say this real quick, and I'd love to get the ladies' take on this. I say all the time, women lack empathy. Okay, they have sympathy, but they don't have empathy, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So men, we understand innately that we need to go out there and improve ourselves, make money, get some status, etc., so that we could be a catch. We understand that we're a bum working at McDonald's. We ain't getting no bitches. We accept this reality. Women, though, however, I notice don't understand this. I'll give you an example. A girl will open up an Instagram, have pictures of herself all over the internet being a thot. She'll go pursue a career. She'll do a bunch of twerking stuff on the internet. She'll wear weird weaves. She'll do all this kind of crazy stuff, right? And what'll happen is she'll do all this not knowing that, like, men, though they might look at you from an attraction standpoint, they're not actually wanting to take you seriously. And this is what I mean when I say women lack empathy. They kind of know what men like, but they don't know what men are actually attracted to and want to commit to. And that's where the disconnect happens. So
they don't even care. It's one thing not to know, but they don't care. Because as men, we are taught how to treat women. Flowers, do this, plan a date, call her, text her, be nice to her, listen to her, hug her. Like, do all a bunch of these things for a woman. Right? And they expect it. They also know. In fact, so many times you guys have heard women saying you are not a real man. And if you ask them what a real man does, a real man provides, a real man protects, a real man buys flowers, a real man takes me on a nice date. They have all the things a real man is. But have you ever stopped asking and you ask a woman, hey, what does a real woman do for a man? She's going to say, in fact, usually if you ask, which means what you bring to the table, they already say, I'm the table. They say I'm the prize. Like, they can mention all the things they want from a man, but they can't mention all the things they give to a man. So I'm just saying, Myron Gaines is saying they don't know. I'm saying they don't even care. They don't even care to know. But they know everything a man should give them, but they know nothing they're giving to a man. Man, shout out to Myron Gaines. I'll put the full link down below.